Good evening, and thank you for tuning in to Ashland Tonight News. Today is Wednesday, February 27th, and here's a look at today's top stories.
A fire broke out in downtown Ashland. TV2 was there to cover the story. Stay tuned for all the details.
TV2 was also at the book signing for Dead Man Walking's Sister Helen Pragine this past Saturday. Learn more when we come back.
Now, did you think Trailers Tuesday was a success? Hear what AU students think when we come back.
Plus, an AU grad will be visiting Ashland to speak about the dangers involving alcohol. Wait to find out the details. I'm Brittany Lee.
And I'm DeLon Benton. It's all coming up next, only on Ashland Tonight News. Smoke filled the air in Ashland this morning as flames engulfed the warehouse owned by Pump House Ministries. Ashland Tonight News reporter Mike Hartz has the story.
Smoke was spotted just after 5 a.m. this morning in a warehouse on the corner of Orange and East 4th Streets in downtown Ashland. The Ashland Fire Department, located just 2 blocks away, was quick to respond to the scene.
We were able to hold it in check from going into the other buildings. That was with the aid of some of the fire doors closed in the building. They were able to keep the fire from spreading across the walkway into the attached building. So that was a big stop there. And the rest of the building, the fire kind of ran out.
It took over 70 firefighters from Ashland and several neighboring departments to fight the blaze, which was under control by 8 a.m. this morning. The warehouse, owned by Pump House Ministries, was being used by Myers to house its machine and pump assembly shops. No one is believed to have been inside the building when flames broke out, and crews remain on the scene to ensure there are no flare-ups. The cause of the fire is still not yet known, and crews will begin their investigation immediately.
We'll have the fire investigation team from the Ashland Fire Department here for a long time today. We've also requested the assistance of the State Fire Marshal's Office and their investigators, so they'll be assisting us in the investigation as well.
For Ashland Tonight News, I'm Michael Hartz.
This past Saturday, a Prognosis of Death project was highlighted by a lecture and book signing by Sister Helen Pragine, who is the author of the Pulitzer Prize-winning Dead Man Walking. Pragine founded the Dead Man Walking School Theater Project to encourage discussion of the death penalty. She explains her hopes to the audience.
The descend into their own hearts and deal with the issue on both sides, the outrage on the one hand, and then what's our role as a society in the other, and then to take action in some way in their life. That's what I hope.
The Dead Man Walking production is still running this weekend. Performances are at 7:30 in the Hugo Young Theater. Tickets can be purchased at the AU box office.
Ashland University's Coburn Art Gallery will host a new exhibit in connection with the Dead Man Walking Theater Project, a campus-wide event dealing with the issues surrounding the death penalty. The exhibit, entitled Prognosis of Death, will display the works of artists from Chicago to Paris. Each piece presented in the exhibit is an artistic representation of the death penalty. The exhibit, which is free and open to the public, will be open through the 1st of March.
Ashland University's dining services participated in a trayless experiment yesterday, February 26th, in the Myers Convocation Center. Trayless Tuesday was presented by Student Senate in an attempt to cut down the amount of food wasted at each meal. According to Student Senate officers, the main objectives of the experiment was to first, reduce the waste of uneaten food, and second, to possibly reduce the cost of boarding cost if trayless dining was permanently implicated at AU. However, many students complained throughout the day that the trayless dining was a nuisance, and groups protesting the event were made on internet web pages such as Facebook. Trayless dining is a trend that has been growing throughout many schools who are environmentally friendly and cost-conscious.
Well, Ashland University Students and Free Enterprise, or SAFE for short, is hosting a financial literacy competition for area high school students. Students from Western Reserve, Woodridge, Bellevue, and Hillsdale High Schools, respectively, are being tested on their knowledge of financial concepts. The competition started on February 22nd with Western Reserve and Woodridge and will continue this Friday with Hillsdale and Bellevue. The top 3 teams will receive plaques in recognition of their participation. The team that comes out on top will be eligible for scholarships to attend Ashland University.
With spring break only 1 week and a half away, Michael Gersh is scheduled to speak with Ashland University students about the serious dangers involved with partying and alcohol. Gersh is a former AU student who graduated in 1992 with a Bachelor of Arts degree in Communications. Gersh will present The Magic of Life, in which he will use comedy to talk about the importance of having fun safely. The event is scheduled to take place on March 4th at 9 p.m. in the Convocation Center. The program is only open to AU students and is co-sponsored by the Students' Activities Office and the Alumni and Parent Relations Office. For more information, contact Director of Student Activities Nicole Dyer at 419-289-5325. Up next, we will have a recap of last night's Democratic debate. It's all coming up on Ashland Tonight News. Stay tuned.
Every trip, every time.
California, here I come!
Buckle up so you and your friends get home safely.
I must scream into the world from the top of someplace very high!
Seatbelts save lives.
Okay.
Visit NHTSA.gov.
Low and slow. My best friend, what are you gonna do?
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation and the Ad Council.
That is spectacular advice.
Big dreams and good grades aren't enough to get into college. There are actual steps you need to take. Finding someone who can help is the first and most important. For the next steps, go to knowhowtogo.org.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Is she thirsty or diabetic? Is he tired or arthritic? Subtle behavioral changes can be early signs of disease in pets. These changes are often less obvious in cats, which can be better than dogs at hiding illness. But a wellness exam from your veterinarian twice a year can help detect, treat, or prevent many health problems before they become serious. So call your veterinarian and schedule your pet's wellness exam today.
Welcome back to Ashland Tonight News. Ashland City Schools interim superintendent Jack Higgins will not be considered in the school board's search for a permanent superintendent of schools. Higgins, who took over as head administrator in August after the city severed ties with former superintendent Jim Jones, states that he will stay on as interim superintendent as long as the city needs him. School Board President Rick Ewing announced that a search for a new superintendent will be taking place over the next few months, despite the progress Higgins has made in the financial standings of the district since the departure of Jones. Higgins has stabilized the district after a buyout initiated by Jones that cost the city $160,000.
A college located in Yellow Springs, Ohio, 15 miles east of Dayton, has announced plans to close for the 2008-2009 academic year. Antioch University is an undergraduate liberal arts institution that has faced severe financial problems and an unsustainable business plan. Trustees, university administration, and alumni have spent the past year trying to raise money to save the college, but were unable to do so due to declining enrollment, heavy dependency on tuition, and a small endowment. The closing of the university will affect about 200 students, 41 tenured faculty members, and 85 staff members. All operations will be suspended June 30th.
The two Democratic candidates for president, Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, faced off yesterday night in their last showdown before Ohio's primary next week. Clinton and Obama debated for 90 minutes at Cleveland State University's Wolstein Center. Though the candidates disagreed on several issues, they both praised the other at the debate's close while saying they would do a better job as president. The debate was the final meeting between Clinton and Obama before next Tuesday, when voters in Ohio and Texas hold primaries that could settle the historic election that either will make the first woman or the first black candidate the nominee of a major party.
Former President Bill Clinton is scheduled to make several stops around the state of Ohio this Friday, and Mansfield is one of them. The former president will be speaking in sites across Ohio as part of his wife's campaign for the Democratic presidential nomination. Clinton will speak Friday at the Malbar Middle School. Doors will open at 1:30 and he will begin speaking at 2:45. A spokeswoman for Senator Hillary Clinton's Ohio campaign stated the former president will make additional stops in Findlay, Marion, Worcester, and New Philadelphia on Friday. Well, I have had plenty of snow over the last week, and honestly, I'm quite sick of it. Stay tuned for your weather updates with Lee Gottlieb. Ashland Tonight News will be right back.
Trip. Every time.
California, here I come!
Buckle up so you and your friends get home safely.
I must scream into the world from the top of someplace very high.
Seatbelts save lives.
Okay.
Visit NHTSA.gov.
Low and slow. Best friend, what are you going to do?
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation and the Ad Council.
That is spectacular advice.
Big dreams and good grades aren't enough to get into college. There are actual steps you need to take. Finding someone who can help is the first and most important. For the next steps, go to knowhowtogo.org.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Is she thirsty or diabetic? Is he tired or arthritic? Subtle behavioral changes can be early signs of disease in pets. These changes are often less obvious in cats, which can be better than dogs at hiding illness. But a wellness exam from your veterinarian twice a year can help detect, treat, or prevent many health problems before they become serious. So call your veterinarian and schedule your pet's wellness exam today.
Welcome back to Ashland Tonight News. I'm Leland Gottlieb with your weather. Well, it's bitterly cold out there today. We have temperatures in the 20s around our area, and even up in Minneapolis, we're seeing temperatures in the teens, and this will push into our area tonight. This is all in association with a low pressure system that moved through the area yesterday. As we switch maps and take a look at the current surface, we are left with some snow showers behind it from the lakes with the northerly winds. However, if you take a look up into the Maritimes, that's where we have the low pressure system, and this is what was plaguing us yesterday. I really wanted a snow day, and I thought we were going to have one, but we actually didn't. We had some snow showers. We saw 6 to 10 inches around the area. Now, as you can see here, these are the current wind chills. With the low pressure system, we have northerly winds packing behind it, and therefore we're left with really cold temperatures and winds, which combine and make temperatures feel like it's 6 degrees outside in our area, Ashland and Mansfield. Lastly, as we take a look at that all-important 3-day forecast, we can see that temperatures will be on the rise. However, another clipper system will move in Friday with some snow showers. That's all I have for weather. Here's Brendan with sports.
Thanks, Lee. Let's get to all the action in AU sports. The Ashland women's basketball team won 2 games this weekend, clinching a GLIAC playoff game on Saturday. The Eagles beat Wayne State 77-66 on Thursday at Cates Gymnasium. Lindsey Warren came off the bench to lead the Eagles with 21 points and 7 rebounds. Elizabeth O'Brien, Lisa Grau, and Lindsey Gott each scored in double figures. On Saturday, the Eagles traveled to knock off in-state rival Findlay 72-66. Again, it was Warren off the bench carrying AU. She had 23 points and 11 rebounds. She made 8 of her 10 shots from the field. Warren was awarded for her strong play and was named GLIAC Player of the Week. She is the first athlete in the GLIAC this season to be named Player of the Week in 2 sports. She is also a setter on the AU volleyball team. Ashland plays Gannon on Saturday in the first round of the GLIAC tournament. The Golden Knights beat the Eagles twice in the regular season by 1 point. The men's basketball team split 2 games this weekend. They beat Wayne State on Thursday 74-60. Cale Richardson scored 21 points and grabbed 14 boards for the Eagles. Brett Bartlett had 14 points and 6 assists, and Brett Wackerly added 14 points and 5 assists. On Saturday, Ashland fell to Findlay 90-75. AU beat 6th-ranked Findlay earlier in the season at Cates. This time, all 5 Ashland starters were in double figures. Bartlett led the Eagles with 23 points and 5 dimes. Tyler Evans led Findlay with 23 points. The men's team, by coincidence, also travels to Gannon for its first-round GLIAC playoff game. They will follow the women's games on Saturday night at 7:30. The men also lost both of their regular season games against the Golden Knights. The AU indoor track teams competed in the Kent State Tune-Ups this weekend. Tara Cooper has the top weight throw in the country at 65 feet and 5 inches. She will be joined by Michelle Stark and Elise Bodarini at Nationals. Dan Tierney qualified for Nationals in the pole vault. He cleared 17 feet and 3/4 of an inch. Senior Rob Clank competed at the Central Missouri Classic this weekend. His weight throw at the meet was the second longest in NCAA Division II history. It traveled 69 feet and 2 3/4 inches. Clank's former teammate, Kibwe Johnson, made the longest throw last year. The baseball team split 2 freezing games this weekend against Bellarmine in Kentucky to open the regular season. With temperatures in the 30s, AU fell in the opener on Saturday 5-4. Bellarmine rallied in the bottom of the 9th to beat Ashland, who lost a 4-1 lead in the game. AU bounced back to win the second game 9-3 in 12 innings on Sunday. Ashland scored 6 runs in the 12th inning. Eagles pitcher Matt Schultz threw 6 1/3 innings of one-hit ball in relief to keep the Knights off the board. Ashland plays 14 games in the next 11 days, beginning March 6th on a spring break trip to Fort Myers, Florida. Well, that's a wrap on all the action in AU's winter sports. I'm Brendan Bittner, and Ashland Tonight News will be right back with your weekly health updates.
Every trip, every time.
California, here I come!
Buckle up so you and your friends get home safely.
I must scream into the world from the top of someplace very high!
Seatbelts save lives.
Okay.
Visit NHTSA.gov.
Low and slow. My best friend, what are you gonna do?
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation and the Ad Council.
That is spectacular advice.
Big dreams and good grades aren't enough to get into college. There are actual steps you need to take. Finding someone who can help is the first and most important. For the next steps, go to knowhowtogo.org.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Is she thirsty or diabetic? Is he tired or arthritic? Subtle behavioral changes can be early signs of disease in pets. These changes are often less obvious in cats, which can be better than dogs at hiding illness. But a wellness exam from your veterinarian twice a year can help detect, treat, or prevent many health problems before they become serious. So call your veterinarian and schedule your pet's wellness exam today.
Welcome back to Ashland Tonight News. I'm Ashley Griffiths with your weekly health report. Due to the death of an airline passenger last week, experts are saying if you don't feel well, don't fly. If you are feeling under the weather and insist on flying, take this advice. Most common issues found when flying are respiratory, heart problems, fainting, and even orthopedic. The airline staff is well prepared on how to handle emergencies and have a hospital on call. However, for your safety, come prepared. Staying hydrated during the flight is crucial. Pack a small snack and a water bottle in your carry-on, or buy one on the plane. Recent studies show that TV before bedtime could cause irregular sleep patterns in children. Although there is no definite cause and effect relationship between the two, out of the children studied, 27% of children suffered from irregular sleep patterns and 34% had irregular nap patterns. Experts say, although there is no proven relationship between the two, if your child is having irregular sleep patterns or trouble falling to sleep, try monitoring their television and do not use television as a tool to help them fall asleep. Here to end our health segment is some food for thought. Studies have shown that our brain feeds and responds to certain types of food. Keep unhealthy fats down below 20 calories a day. Eat plenty of dark-colored fruits and vegetables such as spinach, watermelon, apricots, mango, kale, and broccoli. These foods increase a vital chemical that increases communication between our brain cells. Eat plenty of salmon, herring, tuna, and other kinds of fish to receive omega-3 fatty acids. The component in omega-3, called DHA, is especially important for our brain to send and receive messages through the membrane. The fuel our brain relies on to run is glucose, or simple sugar. So eat plenty of complex carbohydrates, which will give your brain constant energy instead of a sudden burst from some foods, which is proven to be a large part of memory error. Well, that's all I have for this week's health. Let's toss it over to Candace with your entertainment news.
Thanks, Ashley. I'm Candace Kaczynski here with all of your hot Hollywood gossip. Hollywood's biggest night in all of its glitz and glamour took place this past weekend. We're talking about none other than the 80th Annual Academy Awards, of course. This year, the event was hosted by political comic Jon Stewart and unfortunately did not pull in quite as many viewers as anticipated. In fact, this year's ratings were 14% lower than the least watched Oscar ceremony in 2003. Nevertheless, it was a big night for the winners, so without further ado, the Oscar for Best Actor went to Daniel Day-Lewis for his role in There Will Be Blood, while French actress Marion Cotillard took home Best Actress for her role in La Vie en Rose. Despite much promise, this year's sleeper hit Juno only took home the award for Best Original Screenplay out of its 4 nominations, which included Best Picture. That award, however, was reserved for No Country for Older Men, which took home 4 awards total. Everyone who is anyone made it out to the big event. Well, everyone except for one particular Hollywood power couple. Proud new parents Mark Anthony and Jennifer Lopez enjoyed the event by watching it on the tube, as Lopez gave birth to twins over the weekend. The bundles of joy were welcomed into the world shortly after midnight Friday in New York's Long Island. Names have not yet been released for the healthy baby boy and baby girl. However, both mom and babies are said to be doing fine. According to Lopez's representative, Simon Fields, both Jennifer and Mark are thrilled, delighted, and over the moon. And speaking of the moon, the master of the moonwalk himself, Michael Jackson, may have to grow up and leave Neverland for good. Unless Jacko can cough up the $24 million he owes on the property, the Neverland Ranch will be put up for public auction next month. Financial title company filed the notice of trustees sale with Santa Barbara County Superior Court, setting the auction date for March 19th. Jackson has until the date of the auction to take action in keeping his estate. And finally, let's take a look at your weekend box office hits. Starting us off at number 5, it's the romantic comedy Fool's Gold, which brought in $6.5 million. Falling back to the number 4 spot is Step Up 2, The Streets, with $9.6 million. Jumping back to number 3 is Jumper, starring Hayden Christensen and Samuel L. Jackson, which earned $12.7 million. The Spiderwick Chronicles moves up to second place with $13.1 million, and debuting in the number 1 spot is the thriller Vantage Point with $22.8 million. Well, that wraps it up for entertainment. We'll be right back with more AU News.
buckle up so you and your friends get home safely.
I must scream into the world from the top of someplace very high.
Seatbelts save lives.
Okay.
Visit NHTSA.gov.
Low and slow. Best friend, what are you going to do?
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation and the Ad Council.
That is spectacular advice.
Big dreams and good grades aren't enough to get into college. There are actual steps you need to take. Finding someone who can help is the first and most important. For the next steps, go to knowhowtogo.org.
Welcome back to Ashland Tonight News. This Thursday at 10 a.m., the university will send out another test message through the E2 Campus Emergency Notification System. If you have not signed up for the emergency notification, you can do so at www.ashland.edu/emergency.
All halls close for spring break on Saturday, March 8th at 10 a.m. and reopen Sunday, March 16th at noon. If you have to be in the halls during any of this time, make sure to fill out a request approval for spring break. Applications are due by March 5th at noon.
And the Spring 2008 Colloquium will be held this Friday at 3 p.m. in the Ashbrook Center. Jeremy D. Bailey will be presenting Thomas Jefferson and Executive Power. So, does anybody have any big plans for this weekend?
Well, my birthday is on Monday, so I'm going to be
Happy
going
birthday.
home to celebrate with my family and to get everything ready for spring break.
Spring break! Can't wait for spring break. I already broke out the shades.
Oh yes, we are more than ready.
For sure.
I will be on the beach 2 weeks from now.
Me
That's
too.
awesome.
Yep.
Very exciting.
See, I actually will not be in the sun, but
But you'll stay
whatever.
there anyways.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that about does it for tonight's edition of Ashland Tonight News.
We would just like to thank our TV2 crew, and if you are interested in helping out with Ashland's TV station, you can email tv2@ashland.edu.
Also, remember to send in your questions to TV2 to ask AU President Finks what he thinks.
That's right, and don't forget to join us next week on Wednesday at 5.
Thanks for joining us.
Have a great night, everyone.
Good night.